Let's stay with the story and speak to Elijah Uhuru Lekgowane, President of the National E-Hailing Federation of South Africa. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. We are just learning this afternoon that a fourth suspect has handed himself over. How are you reacting to that?
Well, this is a welcome news. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the SABC, the law enforcement, for their prompt response in this regard.
And when you look at this particular footage, it's very difficult to watch, to even be able to, finish the footage of what is said to have happened there. It once again brings into the spotlight the safety of your members and some of those who may not have dash cams. How concerned are you that some of the matters or the cases happen without being reported and we simply never get to hear from them because nothing is captured?
Indeed, this is an extremely concerning situation. We are we are happy that at least the young man had such a feature in his vehicle. We have always encouraged our members to install these cameras for their own safety, but of course also to expose these criminal acts, criminals, as and when they come into the cars for their dubious deeds.
And what about those who do not have? How are you ensuring their safety?
Look, unfortunately, we are living in a society that we need to explain to you. Our partners here, they are not genuine partners. I'm talking about the app companies. We've prevailed to them to a starting point that can they assist us in installing these cameras? They've always refused to do so. The same applies with the so-called, what we call features in their apps, which are not as effective as we'd like to have them. People have been dying with those features, so-called security features in their apps. So basically for us, it is left in our hands to make sure that we install these cameras for our own safety.
I'm going to get to the security features in just a moment, but you say that they've refused to assist you when it comes to installing these cameras. What are the reasons they're giving you?
Well, only they can tell that.
So they just
the hypocrisy that we've been experiencing from these multinational app companies and their arrogance is out of this world. Frankly, the cars are not theirs. So that's the only reason why.
So that's what they said. Mr. Lekgowane, are you still with us?
Definitely.
Okay. So let's then talk about these features that you speak about.
The cars belong to them, so the owner of the vehicle will have to install that.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a delay on the line. Let me try again. So when it comes to the security features that you're talking about in the app that you say that are not in fact effective and they simply aren't helping, describe for us what are these features and what are they meant to do?
Well, they are meant to alert the so-called security arms response. But we can tell you in 90% of this kind of situations, we are not being helped. Security will only react after an hour after the incident itself. So for us, that is a very useless features that they have in store.
And how then, especially for some, let's say the authorities are watching tonight, how then are you imploring them in order to be able to improve this? Because ultimately, we cannot continue to see what we're seeing, because it's not only the safety of drivers that's under scrutiny, it's also the safety of the passengers that are using some of the e-hailing services.
Let me just first explain this very important part. Mm-hmm. All the drivers you see on the platforms are vetted. The problem, the first important issue to address here is the question of riders that are not vetted by these app companies. So a driver, when he goes to the street, he doesn't even know who he's going to pick up. That's the first challenge that we have. That's why we end up with this kind of situation that is present here. The second issue is that we are calling for the national government, because this is a national crisis now. I can tell you now, in Phoenix, in KZN, we've already received the news of an attack that happened over the weekend. In Mamelodi, again, in Pretoria East, we have also endured another experience over the weekend where there was an attempted hijack on the driver. As a consequence of that, the driver then shot one of these criminals. So this is a national crisis which calls for a national response. Hence our call as NEFSA to say that we are calling on the national minister to establish a hailing task team to investigate this kind of atrocities against our people.
And this particular task team, because there were some of the regulations that were put in place, are they helping at all?
How I wish I could have the whole day to explain. There's nothing to celebrate from this approval, this National Land Transport Act. There are a number of issues that we're dealing with. They are not sufficiently dealing with the aspect of security itself. Instead, rather, they're still talking about vetting drivers, but they're not verifying the very clients who happens to be, among others, the criminals that attacks our people. So we cannot celebrate this kind of act.
Where to from here?
Like I've already indicated to you, the first step is to make sure that these criminals, they never ever see freedom outside the prison. That's a starting point. The second issue, the national commissioner must establish this national task team in order for us to deal with this criminal acts within the sector itself. Remember, they are beyond just criminal acts. There are also extortion that also are perpetuated by some tax associations across the country. Those issues also need to be investigated thoroughly.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to us, Elijah Uhuru Lekgowane, President of the National E-Hailing Federation of South Africa, speaking about this crisis and now the call for this task team in order to be able to investigate some of the cases that they have been reporting that appears to not reaching finality.